Hey, my name is Gary Mortensen. I'm a member of the Austin Friends of Traditional Music, and this is an organization that has been active here in Austin, Texas since 1974. We promote traditional music of all kinds. We sponsor many jams around the area and a couple of festivals. In fact, in the fall, in October, we normally have our Austin String Band Festival, which is really one of the great festivals you could ever attend. This year, however, the pandemic has had the same effect on us as it's had on so many other organizations, and our jams are, for the most part, pretty all of them closed, not happening. And our festival is questionable. It won't be a regular string band festival in the fall. Maybe we'll be able to do something and maybe not. We won't do anything foolish though, that's for sure. So to take up the slack, we've been having interviews with some interesting musical people around the Austin area. Our website is aftm.us. And if you check that out, you'll see that there's a special spring edition of the Real Times newsletter featuring ways that musicians can keep their skills up to par during this time when we can't get together with others. Our own Chip Bach has written a wonderful article describing various practice aids and other websites online that are great help to the musician who is isolated like we all are now. But today it's my pleasure to interview a person I've never met in person, but I'm very anxious to talk to her, out about her musical history, and that is Celebrindal Roberts. Celebrindal, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing wonderful. I'm so excited to be here with you all.
Well, this is going to be fun. Where were your earliest years spent? You're not a lifelong Texan, I don't think.
Right. So I was born in Illinois and I moved to Louisiana at 5 years old, moved to Lafayette, Louisiana, and I grew up there. And I just recently moved to Austin, July of 2019, and I've been here ever since.
I see. But most of your growing up years were in Lafayette, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. And did you go to school there also, college and everything?
Yeah, I attended University of Louisiana at Lafayette for about 3 years. I studied classical violin there. I also studied bluegrass there at their traditional music program that's brand new. It's been around, probably about 5 years now, but it's a really great program. You can now major in traditional music in Louisiana.
My goodness, that's something. That's something new for sure. What age were you when you picked up the violin?
8 years old.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So you've put in a lot of years there with reading the music in front of you. And when you enrolled at the university, bluegrass was not on your plan at that time. Is that right?
That's correct. Bluegrass was introduced to me through University of Louisiana at Lafayette traditional music program by Dr. Len Springer, who pioneered the bluegrass community in Louisiana at University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And he just taught me so much about bluegrass. He showed me the whole world of bluegrass and traditional music and what each instrument's role was in bluegrass and the history of bluegrass in music. So,
well, there aren't many colleges and universities where one can study bluegrass, and I really didn't know about that one. So that is very good to know. So your classical playing and your bluegrass playing overlap to some extent?
That's a great question. I don't know about overlap. I think switching from classical to bluegrass was really tough. It was a whole new experience. I'd never played music without reading music in front of me before. So trying to get away from the page was a huge, learning process. Lots of challenges there, and it was really great for my ear. And so I think that maybe my classical side will kind of come back into it. But for now, I'm really just rooting in traditional as much as I can and learning by ear. So.
Uh-huh. Well, I bet you'll never regret being able to read music. And I know I've heard a couple traditional players, people who just learn by ear, say things like, I just don't understand how people can read music and have any expression in what they're doing. And of course, classical musicians can put all the expression in the world into reading music. It's no barrier to expression. And learning to play on the page as you were talking about, I can see how it's a big jump to start playing without that music in front of you. But Dr. Springer was very helpful there, I suppose.
Yes, he just, I don't know, he started me kind of at the beginning, I guess. So, I mean, not at the beginning in terms of music theory or anything like that, but really just playing. Um, I guess at the beginning of the traditional music aspect. So I just started playing with people in a room with an acoustic instrument, my fiddle. And it was just crazy to try and communicate with other people just through music and not really have, I mean, we had like a song that we were playing, but if, there was a melody there, I just had to try to catch on and replicate it and add bluegrass into it. And it was a really cool experience.
Well, I can imagine it was. Did that end up being part of your major at the university?
No, I never graduated actually. I don't want to play music for a career. I like
Mhm.
for it to be like, a fun hobby. I don't really want to attach my making money to music because I just
Mhm.
feel that it's just better for me to do it for fun. It's a huge part of my expression, huge part of my life. So I didn't major in it, or I didn't graduate in it. So
Uh-huh. Well, I have great respect for people who can make a living playing music, but it's a tough living, tough way to make a living. So I understand what you're talking about. You'll keep playing no matter what you do to produce income. Do you still go back and play classical repertoire now and then?
I do, especially on
Oh,
mandolin. I mean, Chris Steele has been just a huge
oh.
influence to me lately. Live
Hmm.
from Here and his new Goat Rodeo album. Really, all the stuff he's been doing. I love him as that musician who he doesn't really like genres, but who will switch from classical to traditional, with ease. I'm hoping to be just like that someday. So yeah, I pull out my mandolin and play Bach partitas and all my old repertoire from
Oh
college.
yeah.
Really fun.
Well, I have that recording of Chris's playing the Bach partitas, and it is stunning, is all I can say. What a musician he is.
He is a stunning musician.
Yeah. So fiddle and mandolin, of course, have quite a bit in common as far as where the notes are and everything like that. But one's a bowing instrument and one's a picking instrument. And did I hear that you developed an interest in banjo recently also?
Yes, so I've had an interest in banjo since I can remember. It's always been my favorite instrument. Um, I just had like a really good ear, so I was kind of put on violin, funnily enough. But banjo's always been my favorite instrument. I used to play three finger Scruggs style in that bluegrass ensemble at University of Louisiana at Lafayette. I spent, I think, like 1 or 2 semesters learning the three finger style, playing on a banjo that was loaned to me from the university,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really great to play three finger style, but I really have always loved clawhammer. And so bluegrass was kind of this transitional genre for me where I'm like, oh yeah, old time. And it's always just been in the back of my mind, that folk sound that I've always loved the most and tried to find in pop music and indie and alternative when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started playing bluegrass, I was able to kind of find it because I was learning about traditional music for the first time. So I've been playing banjo for a while, but I recently bought my first, open back banjo from Banjo Ben a few months ago. And I took some lessons from Jane Vadrine of the Magnolia Sisters. She lives in Louisiana. And I've just been learning from online YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I'm really excited to continue. I think I have like the strum down. I just need to kind of build up some songs, and I'm really excited to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At this point, would you say you have like a similar amount of interest in bluegrass and old time, or is old time kind of dominating your playing these days?
That's a great question. It's I think they're kind of neck and neck most of the time, just because there's so much opportunity to play in town. I find that if I'm able to play a lot of old time, I'm playing as much old time as I can. If I'm able to play a lot
Mm-hmm.
of bluegrass, I'm playing as much bluegrass as I can. They're definitely different, but for some reason, whichever one I'm in, I'm just as happy. So,
Mm-hmm. How long have you been in Austin now?
since July of 2019.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So
last Almost
Yeah,
a year.
just
Or
about a
no, a
year.
year, right? Yeah, a year.
Yeah.
A
And
year now.
was it the music scene in Austin that brought you here?
Yeah, the music scene, ACC as a school to kind of jump off from. I didn't
Hmm.
graduate in Louisiana, so I'm just trying to do that. Gonna study biology this coming spring 2021, and just start at ACC and transfer to Texas State and do all that. And Austin is a great town for music. It's a great town for a lot of things. So I was really excited.
Yeah. Well, do you have like a day job these days to pay the bills while you're playing music and such?
Yes, I work for HEB in Leander, an HEB Plus. So it's a huge, huge grocery store,
Hmm.
and it's a really, really great job. I'm super grateful to work there. It's just awesome.
I can't say enough good things about HEB during this pandemic. It's always been my favorite grocery store of any place I've lived, and I think they've really handled it so well. Really, we're well prepared for it, I think, is the truth of the matter. So, and I appreciate what you're doing. I always try to say thank you to the people at my local HEB when I pick up groceries because they're exposing themselves to hundreds of people every day and doing it as safely as possible. So, I appreciate what you're doing out there for very much. So, one thing I want to talk about that I didn't mention when I introduced you is that AFTM has had for some time a scholarship program, and it's normally been a program where we give a person under the age of 30 a scholarship to attend the Swananoa Gathering out east, which is a residential old-time music camp of great quality, but it's not happening this year, like so many other things are not happening this year. And what we decided to do was to offer multiple smaller scholarships for people to use for online learning of one kind or another. And it's my understanding that you, Celebrindal, are the first winner of one of those scholarships this year. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. And I'm really excited to be able to play banjo every day.
And will be the banjo will be the instrument you'll be pursuing with the scholarship.
Mm-hmm. I will be studying from Evie on Peghead Nation, and I'll be learning clawhammer banjo.
Oh, that's great. Uh, do you find yourself doing any of the three finger picking anymore? Or have you set that aside for now?
I actually find myself using that on other instruments like guitar.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, it's really cool to have learned a finger picking patterning, and just using it on all instruments. So yeah, I definitely pick, my picks up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I'm playing banjo, I tend to just gravitate toward doing it because that's the first thing I learned. So, I guess I would hope to be able to play both styles. That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned you play guitar as well. That's a lot of instruments for one person. Did you play other members of the viol family or strictly violin?
Yes, I play viola also.
Ah,
Hmm.
well, you you got a lot of instruments around the house, Celebrindle, that's for sure.
Yes.
Um, yeah. But you do, as you say, you do pick up the violin and boy, the Bach partitas. If I could play them, I don't know if I'd play anything else. That's just some of the greatest music ever composed, I think. So I'm, I'm pleased to hear that I know somebody who likes to play them. And I hope that I'll get to meet you in person one of these days. Who knows when our jams will uh, start occurring again. But it's been wonderful talking to you online, and I certainly wish you the best. I'm so excited about your scholarship, and we'll be staying in touch.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited too, and I'm so grateful for AFTM for the scholarship. So thanks again.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to this little interview. It's been a pleasure. My name's Gary Mortensen. The organization is the Austin Friends of Traditional Music. Our website is aftm.us, and we'll be doing some more of these interviews now and then. So stay tuned at our website, and thanks for watching.